All right, Eds. Welcome to Anfield Road TV. It's me and Kev for a late night packaged episode. Apologies, Kev was ready on the dot at 10 o'clock, but I had to obviously you know me already if you're regular on this channel. Me and timekeeping is not the greatest. But Kev, how are we, lad? Hope you're well.
Good, man. Yourself? Yeah, all happy, dude. And ready. Christmas is on the way, time to be merry and all of that. Fantastic. Love
Superman's out as well, Kev.
Superman. My God. Okay, we started about Superman. What? Hang
on. Oh, here we go. He's off. He flew out to Birkenhead, lad. He's gone somewhere, but if you're not aware, Kev is a massive fan of Superman. And if you're a massive fan of Superman, sadly, he can't be a centre half for Liverpool because well, we've got him already in Virgil van Dijk anyway. There we go.
What's happening?
That was a quick change. That was a bit like Panto, that was, isn't it?
Who's changing? Who's changing?
Oh,
everybody see Kev.
It's Kev. You've got a bit baldy anyway, lad. So I don't know. The hair might be a bit of a giveaway. But chat. How are we? Big up there, Niall, as well. Happy Crimbo, lads. Happy Crimbo, mate, as well. And anyone celebrating the holiday period this month as well. Hope you're all well. Damo 4 Jack had done. I've slept in. Certainly, I would not be sleeping in if we were all on 350 grand a week. We'd be doing about 20 million laps of Birkenhead or wherever you want to go anyway. But hope you're all having a lovely Friday night. Cracking open a bevy or beverage. Or if you didn't work or whatnot, hope you has a very good. It's the weekend tomorrow as well. But Kev, as we all speak about as well tonight, there's a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack. If you've been away from social media over the last 24 hours, we've been linked with Alphonso Davies. We'll speak about that because as we'll get into tonight's show, it's important the pre-planning. Me and Kev over the last couple of years on his channel and our channel as well. The FSG's lack of planning in certain departments at a football club is very evident, especially in the midfield department over the last 4 or 5 year periods. Could it improve? Yes, certainly. And going into a new era, a new dawn of Arne football, Kev, it's a massive importance that we get the deals over the line at the right timing and certainly bringing the quality in to make Liverpool competitive and continue that great form that we've already seen over the space of 4 months.
Yeah, but you know me, Jack. I'm not much of the man for the transfers. I always believe we have to do transfers at the right time. Yeah. But I look, it's a new manager about. He's after doing really well with the team for the first 6 months. He's gauged who he wants to keep in the squad. He's gauged who he wants to start replacing, and no better time than January to start doing that. We've all seen, that the poor Rob was kind of falling off a cliff recently.
Yeah. Expected.
Simicast hasn't been a great backup either. I still believe that Robbo can do a really good job within the team and the squad, and the money could be made off Simicast to move on to maybe fund somebody like the wages of an Alphonso Davies. You could really. Thanks very much, Paul. My mother made it for me.
You love your knitting anyway, don't you?
No, but it's so. Look, if it funds. Because currently, you look at Alphonso Davies, and was he on €216,000 with Bayern Munich a week?
He's worth it though. He's
he was worth it. But you sell Simicast for, you could get 30 million for Simicast going out the door, on these deals. Plus your usual, what's our usual 17.5% that we get for the sell-on clause. So we sell them for cheaper to get more afterwards, and we know that money is going to be definitely coming in.
Solanke as well.
Yeah, nice one. But that's the deals. That's the deals that we do now, and you could do that, and that money will alone fund Alphonso Davies' wages over the next, few years. So, that's what I would do, and I would keep Robbo as back because we need that experience within the team, regardless of him being able to play every game now, or that he can still do the cups that are there. He can still do, the remaining 2 Champions League games. You could bang him in there for them, and the likes of that, and because. As we want to win every game in the group, but what are we saying? We're going to lose the game because Rob was in the team. We can't kind of disrespect him that much. We understand that he's after dropping off a kid. We can't disrespect him that much. He still had good games after he gave away the 2 penalties in a row, up until the point where You know,
for the younger Reds out there, Kevin, and for the Reds out there that did support through the 70s and 80s, how was it in regards to the past, like the end of eras? You look at Kenny's, you look at the Barneses, like how did they, even Souness as well, in terms of for the younger Reds out there, Kevin, and how did that process go about?
It happened.
Being so successful in the 70s and 80s as well.
I don't see that necessarily in Robbo, because he's still got the pace and he's still got the touch. I just think that he's got a bit of mental fatigue at the moment, and even though he's all about the banter, he's feeling something change with him. So it's in a process of where he has to adapt to his own body, kind of slightly, either slightly aging, or you know, the mental block has a lot of effect on your body as well, man. It can tire you out a lot quicker. It can do a lot of stuff, you know. So if you just start kind of forgetting what way you normally play football, Kyle Walker is a prime example of that. That doesn't mean that his career's over. His head has not been in his game for a long time, and he's jumped off a cliff. It still has the speed, still has all of that, just forgot how to do his job right. And that's the kind of case I see with Robbo.
You 1940 lads anyway, I don't know.
The 70s. I mean, I was 80s born, so I couldn't tell you what Jack is telling me about the 70s. You know, but I'm 80s born, but most of my memory is from the late 80s to early 90s kind of job as you move along. But so the drop off is, you know, it can be that way. Am I saying Robbo is finished? We won't know. Maybe as a full-time starter with Liverpool, maybe, but as a backup to stay within the squad and still be part of this team, you could easily do that. He could still play, you know, up to 18 games a season for Liverpool, doing what he does. You know,
yeah, it's an interesting conundrum, really, Reds, in terms of, as Kev's already alluded to, we don't want to come into a period of time in the next 2 years. His contract's over in the next year. Obviously, he's got, after this year, he'll have a year left remaining. So that'll probably take him up to the age of 32, 33. And by that time, and hopefully, as we will discuss tonight, you're looking at Alphonso Davies, Milos Kerkez as well at Bournemouth, Aiton Nuri. And I've even been speaking to Reds out there as well that are big admirers of obviously the lad of Fulham as well. Anthony Robinson, obviously he's 26 as well. So the quality's out there. But most importantly, I think when we speak about obviously Robbo, and when we speak, it's a completely different, well, I'd say not completely in terms of when you're speaking about Robbo, for the best part of the last 5-6 years, he's been the best left back in European football. You look at obviously a player like Theo Hernandez at AC Milan. I think he's really, really good left back. In terms of Hernandez, and then you look at Alphonso Davies. I think post an Andy Robbo era, I'd say those two arguably are the two best left backs in world football at this moment in time, in terms of their quality and what they've won within European football as well. So in terms of bringing in that quality, Kevin, and Reds as well, it is massively important, because I don't want to be, and I don't think any Liverpool fan out there, Kevin, it being in a point where you're looking at legends of Liverpool Football Club. I'd put Andy Robbo up there. I know different Reds out there thinking about how that definition of it, is it a cult hero, is it a Liverpool legend? But let's not kid ourselves. Andy Robbo's been, for the best part of the last 5 years, the most consistent left back in European football. He can probably still do a job for the next 12 months, but we don't want to be putting into a point, really, Kev, where we're looking at Robbo of what he's done for this football club, and then it gets a bit sour at the end of his career, because it's Liverpool will have a job to do, most importantly, and that's win trophies. And not to a point that Robbo would succumb to obviously he might come to, but as you alluded to, might lose a yard or pace, 15, 20 yards of his pace. And I personally don't want to be watching an Andy Robbo at the back end of his career where the club are just leaving him out there just to get absolutely battered week after week.
Yeah, look, I don't know if there's money to be made off him, and we've got two highly good replacements. I'd want to be in a position where we replace Andy Robbo with somebody else and then still keep Tsimikas around. I just think Tsimikas, he's had a handful of good games to Liverpool in the few years that he's been here, and that's not good enough, because I mean, when you're brought in, you look at Diaz will come on, he'd have a great game. Diaz goes off, Gakpo comes on completely, has another great game. You know, Núñez could have a great game and not score, come off, and Jota can come on and replace him straight away and just do the job straight away. Nobody kind of replaces Mo Salah. If you take off if you take off Szoboszlai or Maka, if Jones comes on the pitch or Elliott comes on the pitch, they have a great game. They come over, they fill the gap, it works. You take off Trent Alexander-Arnold, Bradley comes in and does an even better job at right back, doing with his work rate there. And it's the same with, whatever Beaufort's been the elite out of them all. There's a slight drop off, but the lads can still come on and do a job in Kwanzaa and Gomez when required. Ali for Kelleher. The only place that we've seen a massive drop off on both is the left back position.
Yeah.
And in that position, like even when Mataro Endo came on the other day, he was great, when he was playing. And he was even looking at being put into left back.
But I think we all know like Endo's role, don't we, mate? But you spot on.
It's what should be the Robbo role for left back now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like we should be in a period of time over the next 12 months, 2 years, come what the end of his contract, Andy Robbo, where ideal world, but we know football's not an ideal world. It just becomes the availability. But Liverpool as a football club should be commanding the best left backs in world football. We're in a position now where we've just whacked Real Madrid. We've battered the league at the minute. We're going into positive. We're the best club in European football at this moment in time. We should be, and for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years' time, we should be the hotbed of European football, of elite talent wanting to come to Liverpool, and certainly young players as well. Though, Kev, I know I've done a couple of shorts over the last couple of days as well.
Jack, we lost our best keeper, our best centre back so far this evening. Van Dijk is phenomenal. We lost all of these guys. Right, we lost Bradley, who's been our better right back this season. We've lost, all these guys down the line, and still lost one game all season. And even in our poorest time when Ali was barely coming back, he was missing, but we were missing Kanate for a couple of weeks. We drew 2 games against really strong opposition that put up a fight. Like Fulham are no pushovers. They've drawn with Arsenal this year. They've beaten other teams. Newcastle are no pushovers either. We know how capable they are, and we did it. Newcastle away. And obviously the Fulham game was just a bit nuts. We're just a bit too open without Kanate in there. And the lads haven't learned to adjust yet, but we're not losing games. And the fight within the squad is nuts that, it's these kind of results. You might say, oh God, we drawn 2 games in a row. But it's these kind of results that matter at the end of the season. A few seasons back when we were on a weakest or whatever, even before kind of going for the quad season, those games would have ended up in losses, like maybe 3-4 losses in a row. So we're in a really good place at the moment. Kanate is probably due back in the next 2 weeks or so. Is he? Probably near the end of the month.
I think a lot of the reports from Arne Slot, and he's going to be massive, mate, in terms of him centre half. But it's a great point you raised there, mate. And Reds, keep on getting your comments in. Let us know your thoughts on the predicament Liverpool find ourselves over the next 2 years. Robbo, we wish him well. He can still certainly do a job over the next 12 months. But I think there should be certainly discussions already internally, hopefully with the links of Alphonso Davies. Hopefully there's a bit of truth in them, because obviously he's still only 24 years old. He's won 5 Bundesliga titles, won a Champions League as well. He's been there, done that. And I think he'll be biting at the bits. Kevin,
and Jack, we got to realise as well, dude, Andy Robbo could get through that brick wall, come back and just be phenomenal for another 2 years. We just don't know with that. You just don't know what kind of, we've seen it with Salah when he hit his wall last season. He got injured and he came out of it. Andy Robertson's come back from that kind of injury as well. Ever since the shoulder injury, he hasn't. Remember, Arne Slot said in October, Andy Robertson is not at match fitness yet because he's only started his pre-season in the last couple of weeks. So for him, he's in September in his season. He's just getting into the fitness. So we have to understand all of these kind of sides that's happened with Andy, and just not question his loyalty to the club and his ability, because if he is at top of his game, he is the best left back in the world. But if it is the case that his body's just kind of letting him down a bit and is catching up with him, then Liverpool would just have to act accordingly. That's it.
Yeah, that's part of the big game, innit, though, mate, in terms of certainly creating that overall quality as well, though, Reds out there. If you've got incoming players in the form of Alphonso, if it's Cherki, whoever it is, over the next 2 years anyway, as Kev's alluded to, bringing that overall quality within the squad, that's how you become an ultra competitive squad. We've seen Man City do that. Arsenal under Wenger times as well. Their great period they had, Fergie as well, and Liverpool in the 70s and 80s as well, because we're the best team in the land in English football as well. We've been here, done that. We've seen what it's all about, and we're going again under Arne Slot. I just love it, Kev. We are a special football club. And not to get ahead of ourselves, because we're fans, we're allowed. The players, they've been there, done that, won the Champions League, won everything as well. So they're not going to get ahead of ourselves, but certainly we will as fans, because if you can't get excited about this Liverpool Football Club, Kev, like the quality coming in, then what's the point of being a fan anyway, lads?
And I mean, I think I'd just take every lads. If you're happy with the way the team is going, support them to the highest, as they call it. Just support them to the highest level that you possibly can. Get excited, get whatever. It's not. I don't like people that kind of are afraid to celebrate or just worry too much or just try to tell you hey, because they're so worried about what other fan bases think. I couldn't care less. If I see my team playing well, you just support them, lads. You just get on it straight away, feel it, and then deal with it. But other scenarios call for kind of more relaxation, like about going at Trent for his contracting, going at Salah with the contracting. We can relax a bit more about that because stuff that's behind the scenes we can't control. But what we can control is how we perceive the players to play on the pitch by screaming our heads off in the stands every week or whatnot. So we got control over that, and that's something you should always give them, regardless of your feeling.
Yeah, and that's why history, as it says anyway, in terms of all the trophies we've won around European football as well, home and away. The mighty travelling cop, as always, even again against Southampton, all the way down south as well, supporting the Reds, and even not just down south, but around the world as well. Everyone getting up at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and then go and smash and work a couple of hours later as well. So that's the beauty of Liverpool Football Club. We're massive, and we will continue to be massive, and we're not going anywhere as well, which is fantastic.
Like me, Jack. I've got a sold out gig on the 26th. Right? My gig kicks off at 9:30. Right? We're playing at 8 o'clock. I've moved my gig to kick off at 10 o'clock so I can watch the Reds play, and then just like I'm literally going to be finishing watching the Reds play, and then go up and go straight on the stage and do my sound check about 2 hours beforehand.
Yeah. Too right, lads, as well. It'll be better half or whatever out there anyway. We know Liverpool's so massive to all of us, really. Even if you had your wedding day, that wedding day would be certainly getting moved an extra half an hour after.
I moved my wedding a whole day. Yeah. I moved my wedding a whole day for Liverpool playing. I said it to Danny when we were getting married. I said, "Oh yeah." She says, "Oh no, we're going to get married in the 16th or whatever it was." And then I looked down at my phone and I looked at her. I said, "No, we're not. We're getting married on the 15th. It's a day early. Let's go." So yeah, you have to, man. It has to be like, it's whatever. I seen a lovely video about this American girl, and she married. Well, he sounds like he's more of a Yorkshire lad, but he's a big Liverpool fan, and he lives in the States. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's on TikTok. Go look it up. And they moved. They're literally out. They were on their wedding day. They were out watching the Liverpool game before they could do anything. Go watch the living room, not even dressed. And then they're saying, "All right, so we've now only got a 2-hour window before we hitch after this match finishes. So we've got to leg it back to the hotel because the hotel wasn't showing it. And then they had to get changed and then go to the wedding." But she says she didn't care because this is what makes my guy happy. Not him going out and like trying to meet loads of women or do this or do that. He just loves watching live. All he is in his phone watching TV's football. And she said it makes me happy because the rest of the time he's with me. And she said he's happy, like, you know?
Yeah, he's got a good name by the sounds of it as well. That's what it's all about. We know football's so important to us as well. Reds, keep on getting your comments in. Rival fans as well. Doesn't matter if you support Liverpool. Everyone's welcome on the channel, as long as your sounds. Paul, how are we, lads? Jack, definitely right. Robbo is an effing legend, fecking legend. I was at his Anfield debut versus Arsenal, and I was blown away, and still am when I watch him as well. He gets Liverpool, Paul. I'd say a lot of players do get Liverpool, but he proper gets Liverpool, though, Kev, doesn't he? Like the Scottish heritage within Liverpool over our 130-odd year history. Historically, when we've been successful in the league and successful in European football, it's either Irish, Scottish, English, Welsh as well players. It is very special. And hopefully, Ben Doak continues that legacy over the next 10-year period as well. Big shoes to fill, but certainly Ben Doak has got that quality, fingers crossed, to come in and continue that bit of good luck, really, in regards to Liverpool as well. Matthias, how are we, lads? Evening. Tyler Morton and Chiesa not in training today, alongside Canate and Conor Bradley, of course, as well. Yeah, we know Kev with Chiesa. I know Nigel, as Niles already alluded to, it takes him 3 months to come back. But for a long period at Juve, whatever they were doing with Chiesa in terms of training wise, it's horrendous, mate. We know the physical science, sports science, and everything in English football is far superior at this moment in time. Hence why a lot of the players come to Liverpool and a lot of the big teams in England as well. It's in regards to what Matthias said there, Tyler Morton, Chiesa, mate. I think it's with Chiesa, just biding our time with him really until we get the actual maximum out of him really. But as you alluded to this week, we only need a 60-70% Chiesa. We've got Salah, we've got Jota, if they're all back, then not everyone's going to be playing the maximum amount of minutes on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, look, Chiesa's the injury that he had is fairly bad. So it's going to take him a process of he's still in rehabilitation, regardless of where he's at. So the fact, look, we got him for nothing, pennies, and he's he is 110 million pound player. When he's fully fighting fit, and he did have a lot of games last season. It's just that he didn't have a proper pre-season, he didn't have a proper full training, and these kind of injuries, as Virgil, when you see Virgil's season or so after he started coming back, it's only Virgil's only getting back to his peak now. So it'll take that length of time, but at a 10 million pound bargain, whether he comes good this season or starts to come good the next season, that's when we'll see the benefits. So that's my point with those kind of injuries, man. The ACLs and the any cruciate ligament injury is a long-term comeback. I mean, Verge was still at not even 50% of himself, and still better than most defenders in the league when he came back, even though he didn't have the pace. But now he's back to the point where, okay, you can see that the stride is back in Verge. He's getting into positions a lot faster. He's getting into it. So, it takes time because that ligament the first part of it heals solidly, but the protective layer around that ACL takes a lot longer to heal. And you have to build that through actual, fitness and exercise. It's nuts. That's all lads I used to study. This is what I used to study in university. So yeah.
That's what you spent all those grands on, lad. No, but as you said, mate, it's the worst case scenario, and how frustrating would it be? And it has when we've had players in the past where some of them are just not the best in terms of legs made out of Weetabix, really, and it's like but the main culprits really Ox. Chiesa, Sturridge as well. What a player Sturridge would have been.
Yeah.
I think if he didn't have his injuries, I think we would have been talking about an all-time in the Premier League.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree. Sturridge was just gifted. He had the pace, the speed, he had the finish, he had the flair. I felt so sorry for Sturridge, man, because I loved him at Liverpool, but I hated the fact. But that runs in his family, Jack. You know that. With the Sturridges, they all had the same injury. It's not it's all the calf muscle seize and tear, and it's like getting shin splints nonstop. It's nuts. So the fact that his career lasted as long, his uncle's career, his two uncles, I think, career finished early because of the same. It's in the genes, dude. Nothing you can do about it, but you get the best out of these players while you can, and that's Sturridge would have been, if he didn't have that, I would just say gene pool, he probably would have been,
I'd even say, though, like, even if he was a bit later, 10 years later in his career, I think certainly he would have had a much better career potentially as well, mate. But, what a player, Daniel Sturridge. Not quite the dancing and all that, but we can give that a miss anyway. But he's a great pundit as well. Him and Mika Richards, I love them both. They've got great personalities. They come across really well. And certainly you won't mind going for the bevy with both of them anyway. They look like a right laugh anyway. Damo, can see Robbo seeing out his contract as a backup to a number one choice left back. Well, obviously, I think you mean there. Then heading off for a free to Celtic to see his career. I think that's the fairy tale, really, as Damo said there, Kev. I think that would appease really Robbo's camp and certainly everyone involved at Liverpool, mate, wouldn't it?
Yeah, look, the only way you're getting money for Robbo right now is if he goes to the Saudi League, and I don't see a fella like him wanting to go to the Saudi League. So he'd want to stay around and play or whatever. And even if he kind of drops off, you could probably see Robbo going to a team like Newcastle, or you could probably see him going to a team like Brighton, or you could probably see him go to a team like that. But you'd want to be getting 50 million for Robbo, and if he's not doing the business for Liverpool at that level, is another team going to pay that for him? Saudi League will. I don't see that. So I think it's more obvious that Tsimikas or somebody like that kind of heads. Tsimikas might head back out foreign, or he might stay with a Crystal Palace could come into him or something like that. But somebody would pay 35 million easily for him. Just, because he's been trained at Liverpool, really. I mean, it adds 15 million to the value straight away.
Look at Brighton. He snapped up James Milner, and he's what, 70? I was going to say 78 then.
37 at the time or something. Yeah. What is he now? Like 39 or something?
He still plays in that 90.
39. Yeah.
We wish we had all of his lungs anyway.
Him and Messi and Ronaldo and Chiellini and Salah is another one I'm going to say. Yeah. People have to stop talking about Salah like he's getting on or whatever like that, because Salah still looks after himself well. And Salah feels it after the Ramadan every year. It does catch up with him a small bit, but then he's flying, like, especially so well. He's flying when it comes from like from the Januaries onwards to like coming up to that point in the season, and that he tends to drop off a little bit near the end of the season around that period. But no, look, these guys have longevity. They're talking. You look at Teddy Sheringham, played into his 40s. These guys barely drank, barely did anything. And it shows. It's a big difference between the players. I mean, you see like Roy Keane and Steven Gerrard and all these guys enjoy the drink when they wanted to enjoy a drink, and and that's why they kind of ended their career slightly earlier than what you expect them to do in Liverpool. But these other guys don't, and it does come down to that. It comes down to the right choices, right beaners and all that.
Yeah, your cup of tea though with about 5 pints down the logo. Yeah. We know how football even in the next 10 years there'll be medical advancements in terms of player longevity, in terms of getting that competitive edge. Really, we know you only have to watch the Liverpool daily training videos. Like, we'd love to wake up to like that food selection. Obviously, there's all nutritionists, millions of pounds gets paid into, and like obviously the lady that was very successful under Jurgen Klopp, I'm not too sure if she's still there. But she released like a cooking book or like a recipe book and all that. Not Ula. That's
Ula's his missus, yeah.
Yeah, but there was a very famous German nutritionist. Anyway.
Okay. I think I remember seeing it. I remember seeing it and reading about it, but I forget her name.
It's mad how like modern football is so advanced at the minute, in terms of. We just think it's not as basic as just players getting on the football pitch and starting kicking the ball anyway. Like, it's getting that competitive edge, really. Canate in the gym, weight room already for Matthias does not train with the rest of the squad as well. Yeah, I think previous seasons as well, though, Matthias, he's clued in really in terms of like he's a proper player. Ibu Canate, really. Can't lie, barely know anything about Chiesa. But
Cherki.
Cherki, but a lot of the fan base seem to rate him highly. Reece, I do watch quite a fair bit of Ligue 1 football in terms of over the last couple of seasons, very highly rated. Not going to say I've sit here and say that I've seen a lot of them, but from what I've seen, I've always begged the question, really, Reece, and Red's out there in terms of why has no one gone and got him, really. But he's still only 21 years old. He's very versatile. He's a central attacking midfielder, very adept on both feet, very comfortable to go on the left, go on the right as well. But obviously, he did come second in the Olympic, obviously, in the Olympics just recently in 2024, with his French sides and Thierry Henry. One to watch, really. He's got a lot of potential, certainly a lot of potential. Can play sometimes down the right-hand side in a right-wing position, but most notably for that Lyon side. For anyone that's missed the short as well that we done this week, Lyon are in absolutely crippling amounts of debt. They have to succumb to a fair bit of money this season. Otherwise, you will be getting sanctions. You will be getting demoted a couple of tiers within French football as well, the federation. So it's going to be a case in point, Kev, where Lyon, they have to offload and offset, really, is the key word, a lot of their big, high-profile assets. And certainly Cherki, he is one of the big assets currently at Lyon.
When you see the 5 players that he's most likened to as well in FBref stats is Dembele, Cole Palmer, Wirtz, Yamal, and Son Heung-min. are the 5 main guys. Leo after that, Musiala, Salah, Rafinha, and Vinicius Junior after that. That's some list to be compared to as similar stats. But look, he's in the 99th percentile for assists. His XAG is 99th percentile. His non-penalty expected goals is in the 96th percentile. His shot rate in action is 90. He's in that 1 percentile. You know what I mean? So he's in 99th percentile there. Progressive passes 99th percentile. Passes attempted 92. Successful take-ons 99. Touches 90, which is great. Very good. And he's played 1,744 minutes this season. With the goals that he's got 5 goals so far this season, but that's with
4 assists
in, 7 assists.
Yeah, 4 in the Europa League conference.
Europa League, yeah.
I was looking at the stats really, but certainly still only 21 though, mate. You're looking at that age really.
It's only 76,000 euros. That's not even 70 grand a week.
Yeah, so that's
you get him for 110 easily and bring him in, yeah.
So I think there's a deal there to be done. Not if it's not Liverpool, but certainly a club in European top leagues, really. It'd be interesting in terms of I know certain journalists in French football over the last couple of years have mentioned his attitude, but I think certainly when you come to a club like Liverpool, we'll do already our due diligence really in terms of the profile. I think that's a massive point. Fundamentally, most important aspect is being a great footballer, certainly with the potential to develop.
People said the same thing about Darwin Núñez.
Yeah, and he's come in and he's settled down really well. I think we'll get that out of you, really. It's not like we're bringing in a Mario Balotelli, because I think I thought Balotelli could change, but certainly, he couldn't, sadly. So hopefully that's filled you in a bit, Reece, in terms of what his game's all about. But if you've not seen a lot of him, certainly watch him this season coming into the January period. There'll be a lot of clubs knocking on the door, really, of trying to get him into their football club. Because even if you did sign him, and certainly if we loaned him out to another Premier League team, I think the one thing, Kev, I wanted to mention tonight as well, is you can never have enough good footballers at your football club.
No.
I don't want to be a club where we snub it going, oh, we've already got him and him and him and him and him. No, compact the whole football club in every department. We've already alluded to a left back position, Kev. Like, get as many great footballers into the football club as much as we can. And it's up to Arne Slot. He's the boss to really deal with the camaraderie. But most importantly, if it makes Arne Slot's job and us as fans supporting the Reds even more easier, like, you can never. I've been having debates on social media in terms of when I've been doing the content. It's like, where did you all going to be fitting in? I just keep on saying, you can never have enough good footballers. And if Cherki comes in, mate, he would certainly complement Liverpool twofold.
Yeah, I think so. Look, we also need people that are able to run up that right-hand side along with Salah. Somebody who's willing to come into a team like Liverpool and, and give a break. He can play through the middle. He can play mostly on the right. He can play in the right attacking midfield position. That's the position that that Szoboszlai is holding right now. But maybe Slot doesn't see that Dom is giving enough. Maybe in an attacking side of things, he's doing a lot of work going backwards, but maybe he's not giving enough, like with the link up play and the assists and the goals from an attacking position. So it's another option to stick in there on that position, just to tuck inside Salah and play on that right hand side, which is an ideal replace, an ideal kind of player, and really good with his feet as well. So Cherki would be a good try. And as I said, whatever about the signing fee, at the moment his wages, even if he doubled his wages up to 140 grand a week or thereabouts.
I think I've seen a report in France over the last couple of weeks. It's in around like 15 to 25, 30 odd million, which for a club, that's a snip really in terms of of his quality.
Yeah, you get somebody like that in. And if Edwards has done the dead, and if Edwards has done, he's do due diligence, then so be it. But I'll just look in Edwards we trust. I'll go whatever that dude sees as the stats.
Yeah.
Relate to. Yeah.
Yeah, Reece. Main thing is, as we always say, I know we're a Liverpool news channel or whatnot as well on here, mates, but just always look to the LFC official sources for any players as well.
Yeah.
But what we will do, we will speak about the rumours and all that and how they fit in as well. But nice one, Reece.
Yeah, and also saying that the reason he hit the nail on the head there, we got Chiesa for nothing. He's been paid pretty much nothing, to play for Liverpool, and there's the potential of him to turn back into a £110 million player. That's it's a no-brainer for me to grab him. There was no downside to signing Chiesa at all.
Yeah, 100%, miss. And Damo, chat, keep on getting your likes in. Do drop a like on the video, massively helps out. Obviously, a link to Kev's channel is in the description as well, so please do head over. Kev is available on TikToks as well, and try and get Kev as many followers on that as well.
I do lots of dances over there,
especially if we win the league. Certainly. Andy Dobbo cracks me up when he can't hide his side. Lobs sided smirk as he incorrectly walks away. Damo, and that's the thing, especially when we've played Real Madrid in previous finals as well, though. Go on,
Kev. What?
It was when we played. Was it when we played Everton and Pickford was absolutely losing his head, and he just went bang, and he just looked at the Sky Sports camera like. But you need your little rattler in terms of your team as well, someone that gets on you, because every football club, every rival fan goes, "Oh, I despise him as a player." But if he played for your football club, you'd love him. You need players of that character as well. But certainly he's got that attitude, but he certainly backs it up as he has done in the Liverpool career as well. But we love him. Oh, where's someone exactly? The best one was.
It was like that. I'm hanging outside the mud.
No, the best one was when.
How am I doing it, Stud? How am I doing it?
No, the best one was when Bobby and Mane used to just take the piss out of each other.
Mane would just copy him. He was just copy everything Bobby was doing.
Bobby was like, "What are you doing?"
That's something that happened in the training room. That's something that was so private between them banter, like saying, Bobby was just like, he's probably talking about like his celebrations are so weird. They were always so weird. They were never. It was just weird because it was just like in his mind they were probably brilliant, but to the rest of the crowd he's moving about 2 inches in his body just like this, And sometimes so man is just like, I'd be able to copy you. No, I've got moves and all. I'd be able to copy you, And that's probably where the joke came from, and it's a great joke to see like played out on the pitch.
That is one thing. If there's any interviews out there, please ask about footballers as well. Like it'd be a great, interesting segment in terms of celebration. Do you reckon they just say, especially the South American lads, they've got the great dance moves on lock already? But certainly,
I can already see Rai King going like this. Just play the football, will ya? Just play the football.
Why is he dancing?
Why is he doing dance? Just play the game. Come on. That's I can do the accent because I'm from the same place. Plus, I knew Rai growing up. Not fully personally, but we all, same circles and that.
He's a good lad, especially when he's been doing shows with Mika Richards, and he is a lot more lively up. I love
his aunt, like where I live, his aunt lived across the road from me. She used to pop up like all the time. But I remember the time I met him in Fitzgerald Park, actually going back to that, which is a big park here in Cork. And I remember at the time he was going from Nottingham Forest to Liverpool or to Manchester United. At that same time, like in that summer, all that kind of area. And he was there with his missus, very quiet, in an enclosed little garden thing with a circle on it next to the jacks. And he was just sitting there chatting to his missus, and my dad kind of went over to him. We said, "Oh, you're right, how's it going?" Because my dad managed Rockmount. And he says, "That's Kev, that's right, King there, look, played for Nottingham Forest." And I went over to shake his hand, and I say, "Who'd you play for now?" And he says, "I'm going to Manchester United." And I said, "Hup." And I just put my hand away and I sat down and he says, "Oh, it's going to be like that, boy, is it?" He says, and that's what he said to me around his missus. He left. So I wouldn't shake his hand because I knew he was going to United. So that was me as a kid.
What a player.
I'll tell you. Great player, great player.
Don't mention car parks to Roy because he'll have you in the car park. So, what a player anyway, but he's a good laugh anyway on the overlap. I love how blunt he is.
He's blunt, man, and he's honest as hell,
And certainly that's what Manchester United have certainly missed in the modern era of the last 10 years. Roy Keane just saying, we're absolutely utter dog. And he just says it how it is. Certainly ruffles a couple of feathers along the way.
I think that'll be peak low level of Manchester United for me if they ever, if they, just I don't want to see that. I don't think, like I know Fergie's gone out the door now, but would United ever have a say in Roy Keane coming in to do anything in the management within the club, right? But they mightn't because of what happened with Fergie and all that. But if it ever happened to that, that'd be peak Manchester United downfall where Roy Keane is just going nuts on the side of the pitch as a manager while United are completely in the mud on the way to relegation or something. That'd be just peak banter for me. Yeah.
Exactly what they have needed, but he says how it is. Like some certain departments at United don't like that. So
he's basically called them all bluffers and just said, like, you're not real men, real players or whatever like that, So
Cherki, big up them. Says Cherki might end up being a bargain signing, but do really well at another attacking midfielder.
We really need another attacking midfielder. I think, over in Szoboszlai's position. I'm trying to love Jones. I'm trying to love Jones still, but he just goes up and down for me too often. And he was brilliant there for a few weeks, and then he's just kind of gone again and just too defensive. So I want to see him do well, but there's definitely a position or two there that can be like. It wouldn't surprise me if Slot decides to come in and Harvey's gone next season. And somebody else that you wouldn't surprise would be gone next might be gone next season. I think Nunez will be gone. I think he'll just come in and just like shove all these guys straight out the door, and it wouldn't surprise me. Joe Gomez will go. I think at the end of the season, definitely. You might even see Quansah go if he's not at Slot's level, and then Slot might just remember, like, lads, Slot played his first season with Feyenoord, improved him immensely, and then signed 17 players the next season after his first season to go on and win the league twice with Feyenoord. Was it twice in a row with Feyenoord? He did that, but that's what he does, and he's ruthless when it comes down to finding the players that he wants, but he gives them an opportunity at the start. So
yeah, everyone's positions up for play really in terms of the squad. I think especially at the end of very differently, we know how Jurgen Klopp, certain players in that team very much threw Jurgen Klopp under the bus at the back end of his tenure. Like, he had numerous, countless behind closed doors meetings. It was emergency meetings because we were playing absolutely dog, really, weren't we? But sometimes at the end of the day, I think Jurgen, analysing it 10 years down the line, he'll probably say, yeah, but that's Jurgen. He'll put the players ahead of himself, personally. He's done that at time at Dortmund as well, Mainz as well. It's the type of character Jurgen is, and I don't think he'll ever change. But what a player he was. But that's the modern era of he is the best man management. If you put Jurgen Klopp in any form of business, whether that be marketing, sports, media, whatever, he'd be probably the best CEO in world football, or like in that type of business as well, because he's that type of character really, Kevin, in terms of man management, but he gets the maximum out of the people around him as well. And I think people within football, certainly, they are very rare at this moment in time, because we've seen styles in terms of Jose Mourinho, his development over the last 10 years. I think he's very successful at a time when he come into Chelsea, but I think his development as a coach, I think you only have to watch the Tottenham documentary in terms of certain bluntness. Certain football clubs don't like that currently as well, but it is what it is.
I don't know why, because that's the way you get best players. It was you always get the best players on the pitch by having a manager that was stern but fair, and you can't tippy toe around players just because of the value of their money. They still needed to be treated like kids, because that's what they are. In hindsight, they're 20-odd-year-old people, and I'm sitting here as a 43-year-old man screaming at the TV because I love the team that's in front of me, but we are literally, multi-millionaires talking about 20-odd-year-olds, that are at the peak of their fitness, and that's what it is. And they need to be treated like such. They need to be treated in that way, but just not, but like I get it that you don't have to be as harsh as some of the heavier managers out there, but you could tone it down 20% and you're laughing. You can't tippy toe around them though. But in another note with Klopp, he must be doing too much work because he's off skiing there for the last couple of I
got a bit emotional watching that. I don't know if you ever read. Go and check it, because it was made up for him, because he was like the first time I've actually had a winter break in probably about 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, it is.
Is it Switzerland or something? I don't know where he was. My missus was over there last week. She couldn't be staying in the same place.
Jurgen's on his well and truly deserved holidays.
Danny, who was that German fella tried to buy you a pint?
There you go. But Jurgen, enjoy your retirement, fella. obviously he's still within football, but certainly he'll miss it. But I don't think he'll miss it really because there's pressure within just managing Liverpool. We know how important it is.
He wasn't hiding, Jack. He was in the most luminous orange outfit you'll ever see. Everybody else was in dark clothes and normal thing. Jurgen Klopp is just strutting up there, 6'4" dude with big luminous thing. He wasn't being like, I'd want to be seen, or I'd want to be undercover. He was just like, hey, how's it going? Beer in one hand, ski what you call it in the other hand, and then just chatting away. Man, he's gone fully into the social media. For a manager that didn't want anything to do with cameras or anything like that, he's gone 100% into the social media now, and he's sitting there kind of going, "Oh, hello." It's just oh, brilliant, man! It's brilliant to watch. I love seeing
the family Christmas dinner. I'll send them this post.
Yeah,
we've all.
I just think every Liverpool fan wants Jurgen to be associated with Liverpool in some way going forward. That he acknowledges Liverpool, or the acknowledgement that's all Liverpool fans need from Jurgen really going forward. We all wish him well in whatever he does, but just having the relationship still be bonded. That's all we need as fans, because we knew it needed to change on the pitch, but still,
yeah. But the most important factor though with Kev in regards to Jurgen, and we've already seen this over the last 4 months, 5 months, is the baton. He's not hanging around like a bad smell at Liverpool. Like, not that he would be anyway, but Jurgen's Jurgen, and we need to move on, and certainly. But the way in which the transition, I think, give it another 10 years, hopefully Arne Slot's, we have an amazing era of Arne Slot football. But everyone will be speaking rightly so about the passing of the baton. But that moment was
completely different from Fergie, man.
Yeah.
And what's his name, Moyes, coming down into that dressing room all the time and talking to the lads. Sorry, Jack, man. That just reminded me of that. That's what completely changes the football club around, is that,
Yeah, you see that moment in the modern era. It is very rare, very, very rare anyway. But we do things the Liverpool way, and we always have done in terms of our own way of football. And we get football, certainly. Certain football clubs, you look at Tottenham, all their great managers that they've had in the last 10 years, and I say great managers, they are serial winners. And then you've come to Tottenham, and then you can't get the Tottenham out of them. That literally Conte, what a manager. Like, he is a serial winner, and you had him in press conferences giving it to the owners and the players going, boys, what he's doing. He's used to having Italian captains, Italian winners, Serie A winners. Like, he's won a lot in the Premier League as well. And he's that must be so difficult.
Spurs, I know we're playing them soon, but Spurs are just such a nonchalant club. There's no bite to them. Yeah. They just kind of get on with it if they lose, and then there's no real pressure put on them to win anything. Yeah. And when there is, they kind of falter away, and then the fans just relax, and then they're just left off. Oh yeah. Oh, we're all okay. And you see very nonchalant. Yeah.
You see that with Ange Postecoglou as well. I know everyone was raving about. Obviously, he's great in front of the camera as well, Ange. But again, they'll throw him under the bus as a football club. You won't back him as a football club. Tottenham, big stadium in London. They can attract certainly the best talent within European football, but they just refuse to go out and spend the money on the right players. But it is what it is. Really,
Solanke they brought in, and he could be a top-notch piece. Kulusevski's a fantastic player, but you can't expect a player like Kulusevski, similar to a De Bruyne. You can't expect him to be running up a wing all the time, but he can just do the shimmy couple of moves inside in that right attacking midfield position, and then either shoot or lay it off to a player with precise skill. He's overtired all the time.
Yeah, Kev, had Harry Kane. Harry Kane could have been the Shearer of the modern era. Like, if he somehow still hasn't got a league title, but it is what it is. He'll probably end up coming back to the Premier League if there's no way Bayern bottle this league title. They won tonight as well, but yeah, played of his ilk. But big up them and says Leon is in huge financial trouble and must raise at least, more or less mention that, mate. But thank you for putting that in.
Points clear, by the way, Bayern. But would they have a game extra played? But yeah, technically they're 5 points clear of Leverkusen.
Yeah, 100%, miss. There we go. Happy days there, lads. Happy days. Get the Tanya, lads. Hopefully Michael Edwards gets certainly Damo, but the data Reds, I know, and that's how, like, I know there's a lot of people out there. I know you love your data as well, Kevin. Certainly a lot of Liverpool fans out there. It's important because the modern era of football now, it's not like, say, 20, 30 years ago where you'd have your elite level scouts that you'd hang on their word in terms of where they analyse football now. But, like, look at Brighton, the great work Brighton are doing. I think A lot of football clubs, you look at Chelsea, they've tried to decimate Brighton in every department, rob the manager, rob the CEO. United have even bought the old Brighton CEO or whoever it was, and he's out of a job at the minute, which is mad. But it's the data within football at the minute, Kev, is extremely important, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And even saying that, you go to the importance you were talking about Cherki and all that earlier on, for the thing. But my shout for, if I was to get somebody in to really try and replace Salah, that would probably have the patience to wait, or maybe not patience to wait, or they can rotate or can move Salah into the middle a little bit more. If Nunes is not having great weeks and Jota's injured, probably Mamouche. So for me at Frankfurt, I think he's a ready-made Salah replacement in the future, like very easily. And I think that depending on the rest of the season, with Salah, I think Salah has the potential now to have a Ballon d'Or winning season, and that could be the only hindrance to get his own replacement in. Is for Salah to go on and have that kind of Ballon d'Or season. We want that because we love Salah, but you'd want somebody to come in. But also Mamouche can also play in the Szoboszlai role. So I think Salah would welcome another Egyptian coming in to play next to him, and the two boys could just destroy on that right-hand side. I mean, destroy. Yeah.
He intrigues me though, Kev Mamouche.
Yeah.
He's one of them players. Chat, if you haven't seen the highlights already in the Bundesliga this season, back-to-back Bundesliga winner. I think he won it last month and this month already. But if you're not seeing him, check him out.
He's only one goal behind Harry Kane, Jack.
Yeah, and that's mad.
13 goals. Harry Kane's on 14.
I think he's at Frankfurt, is it? Frankfurt?
Frankfurt, yeah.
Not necessarily a big, no respect to Frankfurt fans. Doubt they're watching anyway, but they're not a big Bundesliga side compared to obviously Dortmund and Bayern, mate. But
47.5 million, 50 million gets him in from Germany.
Yeah.
So we pay 30 million up front and then 20 million if we win.
And a bit of discount as well, certainly. Salah just putting a cheeky word in, going, yeah.
I think he already has. I think Salah's competitive and you want to do everything ahead. But if he's talking about somebody coming in to play in that role that maybe Elliott can't get to, or that Jones can't get to, Szoboszlai is more of a kind of an anchor or hard working player, but he's not creating enough for me, attacking wise. So if you want somebody to come in and kind of do the opposite end of what. He's not going to do what Szoboszlai does going back too much, but he will do what he can't do going forward. And you want that kind of balance within the team, especially if you're playing weaker. I think that Mamouche is and on that right hand side, right attacking mid side, that free roll. You give him that free roll, and he'll give Salah like balls on toast. Really,
it's what sets him about is his pace though. Like when you watch him on the clips I've seen, is very quick, but certainly in between the sticks in the penalty area, he can put the ball in the back of the net.
He'd be my choice over all of them, and over Cherki and over all of these guys. He'd be my first choice over all of them. Yeah, definitely.
He's probably one of the most exciting. When we all look at Liverpool, I think we could have. It just helps Liverpool massively. We have a guaranteed 20-30 goal a season striker. I know it's just not as easy as just saying, "Oh yeah, we'll go and get one," because they're very rare within European football. But certainly, it eases the burden on Salah, whoever plays down left wing as well. And that's especially the big talking point with Lucho Diaz coming into the season. We need more. We certainly got more, but especially Sadio Mane. I know we still haven't replaced Sadio Mane. I know everyone goes at the back end of his tenure, but Sadio Mane was the best left winger in his era. He was an absolute joke down that left. But big up there, Damo. Do you see the Damo? No, I haven't seen the question, mate. But already, Slot's already been in 4 months. He's not. He puts it kindly. He certainly would. I haven't seen that, but me.
He was one of those journals that just tells Slot, that tells managers or tells Slot like his mindset that's going on, and then forgets to ask a question because he just wants to get his point across. Because he's a wannabe manager journal, that kind of fella. I hate those kind of guys.
I haven't seen that, mate, but Slot is very blunt, especially
pundit journals, I call them.
Yeah, with Damo, with I don't think who it was, but I forgot the manager anyway. But yeah, it's certainly that they do so much media work that we don't see. Like they get scheduled like 10, 15 minute slots in front of Sky, in front of BT, in front of every media organisation. You will get sick of it. And the journos are there to do the job as well. It's a difficult job, certainly, especially when you've got to ask the right question. But certainly, Arne Slot, he's not he's extremely blunt, and I love that about him as well. He's there to do a job. Most importantly, that's to win for Liverpool. But yeah, and we'll get on to Arne Slot in a little second as well. Jonathan David has a contract that is running out this summer. Should be worth a check-up, but of course there will be many interested. Yeah, he's another one. Like in I think Appender, obviously at RB Leipzig. He was very good in I think it was at Lens before this big move to German football as well. But Jonathan David, I think he's next big export. Another Canadian, similar with Alphonso Davies. Very versatile. Very surprised that he stayed at Lille. But I think that to me, Kev, Jonathan David, I don't know if you've seen a lot of him, but he screams West Ham for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like West Ham have needed a striker. They've gone and got Halle. Years have gone by. They've already got the German lad from Borussia Dortmund anyway, signed him for big money. Who was the other fella that he signed as well? West Ham, whoever. They love a big striker for 30 million. But for me, he's one to keep an eye on, really, Jonathan David.
15 goals this season.
Yeah, it's certainly in the Premier League. Either the Villa or the West Ham, I can see Jonathan David going to anyway. As
only
well.
24 as well. Well, nearly 25.
Yeah, so Shearer on there. Well, yeah, damn, what a player Shearer was. Shearer, for me, massively gets underrated. Like the fact that he played in so many of those poor Newcastle sides, and they were, but he was getting the numbers that were an absolute joke, really, to say the least. But Kev and Chaz, obviously, a main talking point tonight as well. Arne Slot, I think how many times in terms of we've seen with Jurgen Klopp, and I keep on going into the January period as well. It's so important that Arne Slot does get backed, Kev. Like, how many times have we done over the last couple of years the videos of, yes, we've got a very good squad. We've already mentioned the squad depth as well. But we all want Arne Slot's job to be as easy as possible. But I don't want to be going into a January window, say, if injuries will happen, but we're only a McAllister and Gravenberch injury away from having a central midfield injury crisis within a matter of a couple of weeks. We need to go out there and spend the money because the money's there.
Well, I think Arne Slot coming into the club has also played a part on some of the lads' contracts not getting re-signed either, because I think Arne Slot is going to ignore what's happening with their contracts and he's going to just coach, because he's a coach, he's not a manager. He's going to coach the players that are in front of him when he comes in. So he'll go into the squad and say, right, regardless of who's in the team, this is where I need replacements now. This is like, what am I, nearly 6 months into the job? And, and this is where I think we're lacking a bit, and this is where I think we can develop more. Regardless of who's signing contracts, who's doing anything, it's not going to play any part in Slot's thinking. He's just going to play the best 11 that's available to him when the time comes. And, look, for me, he will be back. He's already given these ideas since maybe the start of November across to Edwards and had a chat with him and had these meetings. They're probably having these meetings over the last 4 to 5 weeks. Yeah. And we used and all of that, and chatting away. And Edwards has probably brought in the best stat-wise players that he's seen. Then, they'll sit down with Hughes, and Hughes will do the job then of turning around and contacting these clubs and saying, yeah, these are the guys that we want. And he'll try and cut the best deal he possibly can. There was nothing wrong with the deal. He was only just in the job as well. There was nothing wrong with the deal that he tried to give to Zubimendi. The deal was perfectly fine. Zubimendi just chose to stay where he was staying, even though he had multiple offers elsewhere. The difference was he turned everybody else down before us and actually sat down and talked more with us multiple times, and said yes. He did say yes, but then kind of went back on what he said because, he was a bit of a homebird. But anyway, who cares? We got gravy train now. So, for me, he'll have backing. The backing will be there. It's Edwards is going to give him the backing. They'll be having these meetings because I don't want to hear anybody in these transfer windows lads talking about FSG because I don't want to hear for one window. I don't want to hear about FSG because they've got nothing to do with it now. So people that are just going to mention FSG are blindly just talking about them. So for me, it's Edwards. Edwards now decides what money gets sanctioned and whatever. He has full control over the funding of what comes in now to the club. The boys are going to have to buy golf stuff and new football teams and all of that. So they're out of the picture. They just pop back every few weeks to watch the game. Obviously, if it's a massive sale, like 100 million plus or something like that, yeah, they'll run it by the owners or whatever. But normal, the budget's already there for that set out. So yeah. So let's kind of just concentrate on who we'd like to sign and how the process is happening, rather than just the usual, people people that are just clueless about how football works, just shouting FSG, just that. Just leave them out of it. Don't, they're not got to do with it this time. Concentrate on the team. Team are doing well. We just can't be just,
we'll top the league in everything that we're in.
Yeah. We just need to top up.
But the main thing for me and like you and every single Liverpool fan out there is we want Liverpool to be as successful as possible. Yeah. And like I said at the top of the show, you can never have enough good footballers. But the main thing is in the modern era of football, Roddy alluded to that tonight as well. Multi-millionaires, good luck trying to get some of them off the contracts as well. But there will be a point in time in the next month, certainly, as we go into the January period, where Arne Slot will probably turn around to Van Dijk and Salah and Trent and lads, if he's aren't on a sign, I've got to think for the next 2-3 years, if he's aren't on a sign, then sounds, I'll crack on with my job and go about, because certainly it's all well and good, but Arne Slot's got a job to do, certainly. And if he's not going to let Salah, Van Dijk, Trent really succumb to his plans and his vision for this football club, massive players, of course, they are. But at the end of the day, Liverpool has been here, done that with many of the great legendary figures at the football club. Players come and go. That's football. It's modern day football. And there's always a contract out there. If Trent wants an extra 100 grand, sound lads. But if Liverpool have a price and we think you're only worth 250 grand, and if you don't want to sign it, then crack on. You can go to Real Madrid, you can go to your Paris Saint-Germain's as well. We want players that want to play for the football. And this is me not saying that Trent doesn't want it. He's a boyhood Liverpool fan, but certainly there will come a point in the next month or two where...
On that note, Jack, Carragher did say something. I know Carragher's not been anybody's favourite person recently, but Carragher did say something on that note, He said, there's a difference between being remembered like a Steven Gerrard and being remembered like a Steve McManaman. And and that's the difference. Steve McManaman left being well loved at Liverpool, and went off. Yeah, he did win things at Real Madrid and all of that, but you've left the club kind of. The difference there, though, Carol, I will kind of back out in that way is that McManaman was a boyhood blue. He was still a blue for years and years and years, even when he was playing for the Reds. Stevie wasn't, so there's a big difference there. Stevie was an out-and-out Red, and so is Trent. So I'm hoping that kind of loyalty kind of keeps him here, but at the same time, I am not bothered if he leaves either, Jack, because I think Slot will have a ready-made replacement coming in, just to kind of back up Conor Bradley, or to kind of counter what Conor Bradley hasn't.
Conor Bradley is a phenomenal.
Phenomenal, unbelievable. I think he can easily just slot in there, and I don't think we'd miss Trent. We'd miss Trent's passing, but I don't think we'd miss Trent and right back at all. I don't think if Conor Bradley's in there. Yeah.
And I want to see a bit of ownership as well in terms of Trent as well. If he doesn't want to sign that contract, just come out, lads. Do what Klopp done 6 months prior to him leaving. I'm going to give all my best. I want to go. But it's then...
He's got Sterling in his head. The rat, Jack. Sterling was doing it before he left.
Sterling done it. Was it giving out the news? Or like, I remember coming back from school. I was like, Dad, what are you doing? And then, it just becomes so much sour. But at the end of the day, let Arnie do his job. Let him crack on. He's not going to be succumb to the big personalities within the changing room. He's very blunt, as you've alluded to, Kev, at his time at Feyenoord. Very quick to get players in and out of the football club. He needs to stamp his own vision on the football club. Of course, he's coming to a very elite level squad. Of course he has. But we need to continue this good wave of momentum. And it is a good wave of momentum as well. But we need players that want to play for the football club. Regardless, the main thing for every player in that changing room is winning trophies. You're at Liverpool. We're at the top of the Champions League. If you want to go to wherever you want to go, just come out and say it. Just get it. But they want to protect their own image. Image within European modern day footballers now, Kev, is so important.
He can't turn around and say he wants to be Liverpool captain someday and then just give up because he has to wait a couple of years. Van Dijk. Yeah. He's 25?
Yeah, he's doing 25, 26.
25, and you can be captain from Liverpool at about 28, 29, right? Let's say. Until you're like 35.
Yeah.
You'd have a full 7 years cap. That's even longer than what Hendo had, for the longest time, So, this is what I'm talking about. You can't just say that. You can talk about Trent in the light because he's got a great right foot and all of that, but he's no Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard got the captaincy off Sammy Hupia at that time because Sammy Hupia said this dude needs to be captain. Not me.
Carried the football club.
Carried the club. Carried it.
Absolute dross.
And
seasons.
If Gerrard played right back, he'd be the best right back in the world. If Gerrard played up front, he'd be the best striker in the world. And if Gerrard played anywhere else, he'd be the best in that position in the world. And you ask any of the other people around him, in his peers, Zidane, all of them, they said exactly the same thing about him. You put any of those other ones that I always mention, like Danvard or Scholes, in any of those other positions, and they don't do the same job. So that's the thing about Stephen G. That's the way he is. And if, as I said, out of the three, if Trent goes, I'd rather keep Salah and Verge. I think they're much more important to us right now. And, we didn't miss Trent when he was gone. Bradley was phenomenal for us when he was in there. And actually, we leaked less goals.
Yeah.
A lot less goals. We had 11 goals scored against us in the first, 15 games. And then now we've got, an extra, we've had the same amount of goals probably scored against us since he's come back. And Caneta's gone, so there's a big difference.
Got a big shout, though, as well, Kev, for the captain. See, I think we said literally, weeks before Ibu even got that announcement as a French national, we said we called it as it is. Ibu is a phenomenal leader as well. Yes, he might smile and all that about, but Ibu Canate, in terms of the captain group as well, we mentioned Robbo. If he leaves, there's certainly already the leaders. They're not picked; they're born. Really, they rise to the occasion. Really, and certainly there's a couple of Liverpool players in there that certainly will hopefully rise to the occasion post.
Jordan Henderson was one of those, not fully skillful in all means and ways, but an absolute leader, and he was great for Liverpool. You'd put him on par as good as captain as Stevie G was for us at that time, and but just not a better player, obviously. So
yeah, big up there, Reece. Zubimendi's getting. I think he will move though, Reece. I think City will throw ridiculous amounts of money to try and paper over the cracks of Rodri in that regard.
That money, it's all going to be gone now, Jack. There's nothing to spend.
Yeah, we know in terms of United as well, we know how important the recruitment is at every football club. You look at Barcelona, you look at Real Madrid as well. Brighton are doing really well. You look at Aston Villa as well, their recruitments in recent seasons. Recruitments in the modern era of football is probably, even before you've got your manager in, it's so important, because the most important asset in any business, especially football, is the players on the pitch. They're the ones that get you the 3 points every single week. It's not the people in the boardroom. It's the players on the pitch. And especially from an era before Jurgen Klopp, we were signing the likes of Stuart Downings for 20 million, Benteke's for 35 billion, Carroll's for 35 million. The list is endless. You'd had the occasional Xabi Alonso's steal. Your Suarez for whatever money we brought.
Lucas Leiva, I don't care what anybody says, he turned out to be a great utility player for us. Yeah, he was brought in as a centre attacking midfielder and ended up being a really good DM for us, So
yeah, but we're at that period in time, okay, and it was more or less a 100% record, 40%. At the minute in the Edwards era, it's more or less a 70, 80, I'd even say 80 to 90% percentage in terms of quality coming into the football club.
You do older Nunes, Antonio Nunes, you'd Riera coming in there, you had, Milan Barras being brought, all of these kind of guys.
As well.
Yeah. It's Philip Dagans, you'd all of these kind of guys coming in that just didn't cut the mustard,
Yeah. So disappointing anyway, but long may it continue. Big up to Brighton as well, and Brentford. So the way they run their football club is very good. No Trent, but you have to pick one and leave one of the biggest.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I'd say Salah and Van Dijk. But I'd agree there, Reece. I think Kev would as well. Captain, because 100% nice. Big up there, John. Good to see you in the comments, mate. Hope you had a good Friday evening. Anyone, Reds, if you're still tuning in, there's 13 of you in. Massive thank you. Big up to every single one of you, Reds. Hope you're enjoying it.
I think John popped in after what I just said a while ago.
Yeah. John, rewind 10, 15 minutes later, and then obviously
not even like 6 minutes ago. And I say just don't talk about the owners. They're gone out of the club pretty much now. They're gone off buying things. It's all about Edwards and what he decides now. So Edwards runs everything off the pitch, anything football related, anything financially related. It's only if we go over like the 105 million mark that he needs to ask the owners then if he can spend it, like he did with Caicedo. Like they did with Caicedo before it happened. Andre Vernon, yeah, remember him. But no, it's not got to do with the owners. The owners have given, that was the deal that Edwards made if he was to come back, that he'd have total control, pretty much like our own CEO, but he just doesn't want to deal with the full business side of things. He just wants to run everything football and financially football related. So that's what he does now.
Yeah, chess, some of those names. Jermaine Pennant, his best game was in Athens against AC Milan. Was it Jermaine Pennant? Down that right hand side. Like, Dirk House. Yeah, we absolutely battered them in the 07.
2007, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was loads of ace. Like, AC Milan hung in there in 07 and got the win, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of those classic names anyway. Dirk House, what a player, man.
I love Dirk, yeah. Dirk was the first person that I seen in like a Bobby role. That reminded me that like about just working hard and just like non-stop goal. Like the dude just didn't stop. I love Dirk when he came in. I remember everybody called him Kite when he first came in because of the way nobody knew how to pronounce his name, and he was like, "Not Coat, it's not Coat." And I was like, "All right, yeah, everybody, all right, he's Coat, he's Coat with a W."
Yeah, no, what a player, man! Could you imagine him in Jurgen Klopp's system back in the day? Like, what a player he was. Like, and certainly the hat trick against Manchester United was amazing. Like the most shortest amount of space on a football pitch. It was like a 6-yard hat trick against Manchester.
You mean the Suarez hat trick that became a Dirk Coke hat trick because it was just it was about Suarez about to score and it was just Dirk Coke going bink and just tapping in the rest of them. Like, so yeah, it was pretty much going to be a Suarez hat trick, but it just ended up with Dirk Coke getting the last touch every single time. But like, and another like gem that we kind of looked over as well is an old Irishman of ours, Steve Finnan, was phenomenal. Yeah, so what a player he was. Just got on with his job, very quiet and all that, you know. So yeah, brilliant.
We might have a night where we reminisce of ex Liverpool players.
I could tell you feelings and
we'll have to pay. I'll try and get me and Kev will pick our starting 11 of like Coutinho starting 11. That should be fun as well.
90s, 2000s, 2010s.
Yeah, and if Niall's still there, 70s lads, Kev, yeah, because you're that old. Anyway, he's still in, mate. But yeah, it's Finnan was class, as Damo said there.
By the way, Jonathan David's only on €37,500 a week.
Is he?
That's it. That's not even, that's £30,000 he's on a week.
Leon, give him a new contract, boys. Anyway, but chat's been absolutely.
But he'll be a free, you know that.
Yeah, so I think certainly he's Igor Biscan. Yeah, we could be here all night anyway. But we'll do an episode.
I like Biscan though, man. I like Biscan. He didn't do much, like, you know, but he was such. Everybody loved him, and he was just such like. He was like. He was like a Neanderthal in a Liverpool shirt. You know what I mean?
Cool. The craziest week anyone's ever had at Liverpool has to be Dosena. My man scored against Manchester United and Real Madrid in the space of a 7-hour period.
With similar goals. Yeah, you love to keep it twice.
Like he was living on cloud 9 that week anyway, certainly. But yeah, Liverpool and left backs that have got skinheads. Cherki.
As we said they're like I see down there in the chat. Yeah, he said about Dribble Cisse. So Cisse was phenomenal for me as well. I couldn't wait to see him in a Liverpool shirt. He was like he's the first guy that gave me a flutter of a signing when he came in. The leg break destroyed it. He was flying. He was starting to score goals. Everything went well for him. The leg break destroyed his career.
Yeah. Fabio free kick. What a player! If you
Two players that had 3 players that had 2 stints at Liverpool in the same era. Can you name them? Fabio Aurelio was one of them.
And Fowler?
Fowler's another one.
Yeah.
There's another one.
It was
Craig Bellamy.
Oh,
2 stints at Liverpool, yeah. So,
yeah. And he's doing well for Wales as well. Big up, Craig. Certainly, I think everyone give him a already wrote his CV before he even come into the door, but I think he said it openly himself. Craig, he said people have had this preconception of me, and he's blown them out the water really in terms of he looks like a top lad anyway. It's good to see.
I'm laughing at Igor Biscan, sorry. Brilliant.
Here we go. But Fabio what a player he would have been if he didn't have his injuries, certainly. But Rafa's certain little gems of signings anyway. Didn't always get it right anyway, but chat, we'll do a show throughout the week anyway, like our classic Coltero 11s. We'll get your Santa 11s as well. That should be a good night anyway. But Kev, massive thank you for tuning in, mate, for getting involved. Have you got many shows coming out this week, mate? Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, I'll be doing my watch along for the Spurs game this week. I obviously won't be doing it for the Leicester game because I'm gigging literally as the final whistle goes. I'll be watching the match like this and then putting the microphone up to my mouth and saying, "All right, lads, let's go." On Wednesday. Yeah, there'll be a lot of stuff that's coming up as well. You know, for me, show wise, things are starting to do well on TikTok for me, so which is great. And yeah, I'll be going live there almost every single time that I'll be going live. But look, you can find me at Irish Spider Guy on most places for gaming. And to answer Reese's question earlier, Helldivers 2, I did play for a long while, even with Jack and the lads. I just haven't gotten into that side of gaming for a while. I've been playing Indiana Jones. I just finished that. I completed all the achievements in that, but one is bugged, so it hasn't clicked for me yet. But anyway, you'll find me at Irish Spider Guy for all the gaming stuff, or Spider, and you'll find me at Spider LFC for everything else related to Liverpool and all that. So there you go. Jack's on mute, so I'm just going to go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's good for you anyway. Well, Kev, massive thank you for coming on. Should be live tomorrow. Yes, I will be live on Anfield Index on Sunday as well. Obviously, the big game against Tottenham. Looking forward to that. The show, we'll have a post-match show on this channel as well, of course. But yeah, Reds, we'll be live tomorrow. Probably in around 6-7 o'clock anyway. Or it might be a bit more of a later. So just keep an eye on the notifications as well, though, Reds. But massive thank you. Still 10 of you in. Really do appreciate everyone on a Friday night. Really do appreciate you all tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed it. A relaxed one anyway, most importantly. And Kev, massive thank you, La. Most importantly, have a lovely rest of your Friday night, everyone. If you're out and about tonight, behave. And we'll see you tomorrow as well, Reds. But hopefully we have a bit more transfer news coming out or whatnot, because it will be ramping up in the January periods. Most importantly, we're top of the league in the Champions League, top of the league in the Premier League. Long may it continue. And let's hope the results go our way this week as well. So fingers crossed. The Reds are top.